For the past several weeks, I have been peeling away the clutter in my scrapbook room, and we are going to continue in that room and go through my paper scraps. I keep them right next to my desk in clear literature holders, and it has worked out pretty well, except for the fact that I stuffed them beyond full. I'm going to be ruthless about these because I moved with these scraps and I moved into this house 6 years ago, and honestly there are many that if I haven't used by now, I'm just not gonna. There are also some that I probably would have used if I had been able to access it, but they're super hard to go through each of the trays. At least that's the case when they are packed as full as they are. I sort by color, and this is the white tray, and it is a little bit of a challenge because there are many colors in this tray, because sometimes I put it in there because I feel like I'll find it better if I am looking for white paper, even if it has many different colors on it. And other times I thought, I need to move this elsewhere. So I have got a pile for keep, a pile that I am letting go, and another pile that you can't really see on the screen, which is more for papers that are going to go in different colors, because I think maybe it should be it should be put somewhere else that I might find it a little more easily, or maybe I no longer like one side, so I want to store it under the other side. I am letting go of most of the cardstock. I'm letting go of any patterns that just don't speak to me, that I feel like, I don't really want to use that. I think that's a clear piece. There also was a gold sheet. I do put gold in with white. Sometimes I also put it in with yellow. Ideally, I would have a separate tray for it, so that would be easier to figure that out, but I am missing some trays since the move, so I'm not actually able to have scraps in all of the colors that I currently have. Like, I have no tray for blue or navy or gray or black. They might be in the boxes of Mount Doom in the laundry room, but I'm kind of skeptical. I did try going through the boxes looking for them several years ago when that room was a bit more manageable. I'm really resigned to the fact that it might just have gotten lost in the move. There usually are one or two boxes that just go missing, I guess. And if that's one of them, well, what do you do? I have actually looked online, but this particular brand of paper trays is no longer in existence. So I guess I could try a different brand. There are other brands out there. I don't know how I feel about having a mismatch, but I also don't really want to spend $1 zillion replacing all of my current paper trays for different ones. I do need to figure something out for the blue, black, and gray paper, but that's a problem for future me. That reminds me of my merch. Let's do a merch update. I am working on that. I am up to 9 different designs because I'm kind of extra. I am working through a local brick and mortar t-shirt shop. I believe they are working out the payment processing, and then we will be ready to go. I will definitely keep you posted. I recently put out a call for questions for a Q&A on my community tab. So I'm going to go ahead and answer some of those questions in this video, and probably will in some of these scrapbooking videos, just because I know that not everyone is super interested in scrapbooking. Leah Kunha asks, do you think that decluttering has helped improve your depression? I would say yes, with a caveat. Yes, because taking action helps me get out of that depressed state of mind. And also, it gives me hope when I see results, and that definitely pulls me out of the depression. The caveat is that depression is always looking for a way to bring me down. So when things backslide, I start thinking, oh, you're terrible, you're a horrible person, you're such a fraud, why does anyone subscribe to you anyway? So that's the downside. Depression is a never-ending battle, and everyone out there who is fighting it, you can do it. Let's do this together. Remember that depression always lies. And there was another part to that question. It was, if you had to start all over again, would you do something different? 100% yes. I wish I had taken more of a break after the living room, bathroom, and kitchen were finished to work on maintenance. It's a really weird phenomenon, but after you clean it once, it doesn't stay that way. And I really didn't think that far ahead when I started this journey. I really was focused on, okay, how am I going to even get this clear to begin with? And then once I got it clear, it was like, yay, I've arrived. Which was great for a minute, even for a hot minute. But the truth is that old habits die hard. There is a reason for that saying. And when you have decades and decades and decades of habits, they might die harder than some others. Try as I might, I have never found a flat surface that I didn't like to pile stuff on. That's going to be a continuing effort. And really, when I was depressed from pretty much January, well, it's before that, let's face it, from November through to March, I had the energy to either keep going and work on other parts of the house or to work on maintaining. I didn't have the energy for both. And if I'm honest, there were times when I didn't really have the energy for either one. Looking back, I would accept that when I realize I'm depressed, and sometimes you don't always realize it, I did because I had 2 deaths in my life, but there are times when I don't recognize it right away. I recognize it a few months down the road. When that happens, though, I need to stop forging ahead and just go back to maintenance. And eventually I need to figure out how to do them together. But I think once I build up a better maintenance schedule overall, that will help me. Leslie 747 asks, will you ever unmask? We'd love to see the real you. The answer to that is yes. Yes. Every couple of months, I check in with myself and say, okay, how do I feel about keeping the mask on? And the last time I did this little self-check-in, I was like, masks are getting kind of tedious. I have a little plan in mind for how the unmasking will happen, but it will be soon. I'm so grateful for this and for other really kind, encouraging comments I've gotten about taking off my mask. I really appreciate you, and I can feel your sincerity, and I want you to know that I see it and I feel it and I appreciate you. Colleen Cleans asks, how do you stay motivated to declutter your house? Seeing the improvements along the way keeps me motivated. That's the biggest thing, is I get tired of it just like anybody else, you know? I see the difference it's made for me, though, and oh boy, the difference it's made for Clay and for Colt. Though I think Colt will be legit sad once I declutter everything. He'll be like, what do I get into now? But they are my inspiration, and you're my inspiration. I get inspired by your comments and your kind words. And yeah, I don't know if I could do this without you, but luckily I don't have to. The second part of this question, what made you decide this needed to happen? I have actually given the long version of this story in my video about cleaning my cart, so I will link to that. But the short version is that I sat down in my cluttery living room, my mountainous piles, and I remember thinking to myself, every single year I've said that I need to clean this house, and every single year I don't do it. And something in me just broke almost. I couldn't take it. I was like, I have to do something about it. I don't know how far I'll go or where this will take me, but it's taken me some pretty amazing places, and I am so glad that I started this journey. By the way, Colleen has a channel where she cleans for people with health issues or mental health issues or other things that keep them from doing their house. And she has a great channel where she shows how she cleans for them, and you should check it out. I will link that in the description as well. Let me do a really quick interjection here before I move on to another question. But I decided to start a little pile of paper that I'm really, really excited to use right now. I'm going to have this somewhere. I can't just put it in a random place, but I definitely want this paper to get used up sooner rather than later. Moonlight asks, do you feel like the scrapbook room is done, or will you continue to micro-organize even further? This room is not done, as you can see. This is just the start of things that are left to organize and declutter. I know that craft rooms aren't always interesting to people who don't craft, so for now my plan is to go back and forth between scrapbook organizing and decluttering, and then maintenance of other areas. That's my plan for now. I might do more Q&A as well. That way, even if you're not too interested in what type of organizing I'm doing, you might find some interest in the voiceover as well. That's my plan for the next little bit. Thanks also for the rest of your comment. I love that you wrote that it makes you happy to hear the joy in my voice. There's just something about scrapbooking, and even if I'm only going through my scraps and weeding out the ones I won't use, this room is absolutely a bright spot in my life for sure. I am 100% going to use that when it comes to giving me something to look forward to when I do harder work like the master bedroom, which has just been a pill from beginning to end. I still need more of a break from that room. Katie Blue asks, was cleaning the scrapbook room easier mentally than the t-shirts? Yes, by far. Which leads to her next question. If the scrapbook room was easier, why do you think that is? I have thought about this somewhat, and I'm not totally sure of the answer, but the best I can come up with right now is that the t-shirts are more tied into my identity. They are a way to express who I am to the outside world. And I've even joked about writing an autobiography based on the t-shirts that I've owned over the years. Therefore, when I was going through the collection and deciding which would go, it was a little bit like I was choosing which pieces of me were going to go. Hopefully that makes sense. There might be more to it than that, but that's the best that I've been able to figure out so far. And scrapbooking is a part of my personality, but it's also not something that I show everybody. The components were smaller, and I really was able to see how if I had fewer things, I would be better able to appreciate the ones I have. I'm not saying that wasn't the case with the t-shirts, but I just think that identity element played a factor in why that was so difficult for me. To Fanahoff, 5087 says, what is your favorite music? Do you have a favorite group and or solo artist? My favorite groups are Stray Kids, ATEEZ, Imagine Dragons, and Maroon 5. Solo artists, probably John Legend and some of Rihanna's stuff. I tend to fall in love with the song and play it to death. But I really love just about everything that Stray Kids and ATEEZ do. And since we're on the topic of Stray Kids, let's go to Shelly9303. My daughter is a huge fan of theirs. She wanted me to ask who your favorite member is. She likes Felix, Lino, and Hyunjin. My favorite is Felix. IN is probably second. I love his voice. But really, they're all great. They're all so good. Say hi to your daughter for me. I'm always happy to meet a stay. Pretty Odd asks, did you see ATEEZ's Coachella performances? I've seen bits and pieces. I haven't watched the whole thing. And the reason for that is I'm wondering if that might be what they do on their tour, which I am really hoping to attend. I'll probably give in though and watch some more. Okay, secondary question. How do you typically fandom in general? I am not sure I understand that question. How do I typically engage in fandom or something else? If you want to clarify, I will look for that in the comments and I'll be sure to answer down there. Okay, from user HY2EP7 and so on, there have been sightings of not only water bottles but also specialty sodas in your videos. We the people would love to know your drink order. Okay, my standard is Diet Pepsi with vanilla, but I also love an occasional drink that is called a cherry bomb, which is Diet Pepsi, cherry, coconut, and vanilla cream. But because it's got, more sugar in it, I get it less frequently. I do love my Pepsi. It's actually one of the first things that Bonnie and I bonded over is our love of Pepsi. So, but I do also drink a lot of water too. We are now moving on to sort some washi tape. I have a bunch that I rarely ever use. I even keep it out on my table near my actual workspace. It hasn't helped so far. Oh, shoot. Therefore, this is the last stand of the washi tape. If I don't start using it now that things are easier to go through, After I get rid of a bunch, then I'm just gonna let it all go. It's honestly ridiculous that I bought so much, although there are a bunch that I have gotten through various kits. I am sorting these into colors and then trying to narrow it down from there. I'm getting rid of chevrons. I don't need zillions of polka dots, and I do have lots of polka dots. If I have a variety of stripes, then I can reduce those as well. That's pretty much my goal, is to be realistic about letting go of ones that I know I'll never use. Right now, my goal is to reduce it enough so that it will actually all fit on this washi tape holder. I've tried several ways to store and hold washi tape, and they have never really worked except for this one. This spinning organizer for washi tape actually has a lid, but I like to remove the tape rather than try to tear it off while the lid is still on. Let's go ahead and get back to some viewer questions. So the Maria Pygan, sorry if I mispronounced that, asks, how many pets have you had? When I was a kid, the family had some cats, but I did my best to avoid them because I'm very allergic to cats. I did some allergy shots at that time, and then they decided not to have cats any longer. I had one betta fish named Zan after a character on Farscape. After Zan died, I swore I would never have another pet because it was really hard. And then came Cupid. So the answer technically is I've had one betta fish, 3 dogs. You have met all of the dogs. Someone with a very long name that I don't dare try to pronounce asks, what are your favorite things about all 3 of your pups? With Clay, I love that he's my little shadow. With Colt, I love his eagerness to please. He really wants to make me happy, and I definitely appreciate that. With Cupid, I love how completely he loved and trusted me. He also had the softest hair. The next part of the question is, if you're feeling up to it, what are your least favorite things about each of them? With Cupid, it was his fetching. He could fetch for hours. He was so good at it too. But he could wear you out. With Clay, it's his attitude of, oh, there's something on the floor. I guess I better pee on it. Oh, that boy. Colt could use some more house manners in general. We're still working on that. But it's very strange. I feel like he's part cat because he scratches me to get my attention. And it does not feel good. I'll just put it that way. He also loves just swiping things off surfaces, which is not good when you have drinks around. R.I.P. my Jamba Juice smoothie. That's okay. We'll work on it. Maybe we'll get a cat trainer in too. I love them all though. Karen Hayes asks, what's your plan for keeping your house decluttered? This, I think, was a problem because I didn't go into that with a plan. I feel like I'm doing all right when it comes to decluttering, but maintaining, yeah, that's hard. My brain just says, where is the nearest flat surface? Is it the table? How about the floor? That's not the way to do this, though. You'll see this more in an upcoming video, but I have a whiteboard. I have written down tasks that I hope will help me keep on top of things a bit better. I want to be able to check things off and take pride in a job well done. And we'll see how that goes. The Maria Pegan asks, what other hobbies and collections do you have? Okay, the two big hobbies are scrapbooking and tarot. I have collections for each of those. I also have lots of books, so that's a collection. I have an autograph collection, which is small, but it's got some cool ones. The t-shirt collection, whether I like it or not. I have a candle collection. I have a comic collection. Oh, I forgot that one. That's a good one. I also have lots of nerdy figurines. I have some K-pop merch. I have a small collection of crystals. And I think that might be it, but there'll probably be one or two others that come to light as the decluttering continues. Rita Tharp asks, in your craft room, where did you find the big white wall units? Are they IKEA? Yes. They were Expedit units from IKEA. The Expedit has been replaced with the Kallax, I believe. I don't remember what I paid for them, but when I got them, my sister was living with me and we put them together, so that was nice. Debbie W8431 asks, do you still have a day job? Not exactly. I was running my own business for a while, but now I am looking to work part-time because I really feel like I need more interaction with people. I'm a super big introvert, but I've been feeling a need for more interaction with, people one-on-one or even in little groups. I don't know. I've been thinking about doing membership also to see if that interaction might help as well. I don't know though. I kind of thought I would wait till my channel got bigger. If you have any thoughts on that, go ahead and let me know in the comments. YouTube is not at a full-time wage right now. I would love to get there at some point, but it's not there right now. So I do need to figure something out. My favorite food right now is chicken tikka masala, which I have just been loving lately. Always subject to change. Who do you take after most, mom or dad? Both. Probably a little bit more mom. I definitely look like her, and I got my empathy and ability to listen, my listening ear from her. From my dad, I got his sense of humor and his ability to laugh even when you are going through the struggle. I'm very grateful for that and feel like it's a key part of my personality. NPL asks, how do you get the energy to do it all? A little at a time. That's really how I do it. I do a little bit each day, or I try to do a little bit each day. On the weeks when Bonnie comes to help, it has been very helpful for me to do kind of an every other day. So she'll come, we'll work. I'll do as much as I can throughout the day, but I definitely take a resting period and I crash the next day. When I work alone, it's a little at a time. Let's move on to the results. I'm going to show you the scraps. Here they were before, really just packed in there, and there we are after. So yay. Glad to have those in better order. Here is the washi tape before. Sorry, I didn't do a better filming of that, but here we are after. I'm pretty pleased with this, And once again, my goal is to start using some of this washi tape, or I'm just gonna yeet the whole thing. It's all gonna go. Alright, people have been contacting me left, right, and center about selling my supplies. So I'm exploring a mystery box option. I have way more paper than I have embellishments. I would pack it up and put it in a priority flat rate box is kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm going to take the weekend, see if I can figure things out and find out how many kits I would have, and then I will let you know in next week's video how this would work. Hang in there. I am trying to recruit a helper who could help me do this a little bit more quickly than I could definitely do it on my own. So I will keep you posted on that.